excited to have you all here. By raise of hands, can you raise your hand if this is your first time here at Kiln? Okay, got a good chunk. Well, welcome. We're excited to have you here, part of Utah Tech Week. My name's Danny. I'm on the Kiln team, so just going to give you a quick welcome and then turn it over to the stuff you're here for. Just some housekeeping items. We've got bathrooms just right out here to the right if anybody needs. And then as part of Utah Tech Week, I just wanted to let you guys all know we are opening our space for the week. So if you need a place to work this week, we've got lots of desk space. We've got some conference rooms. So come see me or someone from my team at the front desk, and we can help you get set up with a place to work and show you around the space. I think that's all that I've got on my end for the most part. We've got some fun giveaways up at the front as well. So excited to have you here. This is the first kickoff event that we have with Utah Tech Week. So feeling the excitement is going to come in really lots of fun. So yes, let's get a cheers to that.
Yeah.
By the way, the Utah Tech Week launch party, official launch party, it will be here later this afternoon. I think it starts around 4 p.m. So if anyone's interested to stay around, I think they're going to have more like a party here. But with that, I'll turn it over to Edgar, Brad, and they'll get you going. So welcome in.
All right, does this work? All right, hey, thanks, Danny, and thanks, Utah Tech Week. I'm Brad Moss, the CEO of Enhanced AI, and really happy to talk about AI with you guys, application of AI. I've been deep into it for quite a while. Generative AI I've been deep into for about a couple of years. And we're going to do some presentations, swap up. I'm going to talk a little bit. Edgar's going to, he's our head of product. He's going to be showcasing some stuff. And we have a guest speaker, Ryan, who's been using some of the stuff that we're doing. And then we'll jump into Q&A at the very end. So let's just start off. I'm going to start from the ground floor. Everyone with AI, it's moving so quickly. Some people are really caught up to speed of the latest technology. Other people are just getting off the ground. So kind of want to go from 0 to 60, going through the AI kind of funnel. So real quick, who are we? Enhanced AI. We are all about business improvement and automation. We do both consulting and tech integration for AI automations inside of systems, inside of processes, businesses, SaaS software, etc. Okay, my very first AI is not new, as we all know. I've built over 60 video games in my career. And very first time I coded something in AI was in 2008. And I was coding some artificial intelligence enemies on this like chess type of game that we were doing. And it wasn't, it was just me coding. It was like, hey, if the enemy's closer to me, run away. If he's further away, run closer. So that's kind of basic AI, right? That's not where we really are, but it's been around for a while. So I want to start there. Jumping into generative AI, what has happened is for a long time, they were training these AI machines on generative AI and language processing. And they kept training them and it wasn't getting any better. And basically they were training them. I'm showing this curve because they were training it like from here to here and expecting it to get better. And it was never getting better. It was just training it on thousands and millions of pieces of data. And millions of pieces of data was not good enough. And then took an engineer at OpenAI who finally said, I'm just going to train it on everything possible. And he went to billions of pieces of data to trillions that actually, and really when you look at the hyperbolic curve, all of a sudden it was just much bigger than they expected before. And he actually reached a point of clarity where the generative AI was giving you really good results and outcomes. And that's basically what we've hit what we've experienced over the last year and a half with the explosion of ChatGPT and OpenAI. So it took some extra steps from some engineers. The way I typically like to, by the way, all the content in here was generated through our system and through AI. The way I like to picture AI and large language models and multimodal models, large language models, I like to consider them all like little brains, like little 2-year-old brains. And I think it's healthy when you think about it because sometimes on a normal tech product, you expect exactly the outcome you'd want. With AI, there's this whole prompt engineering where you have to learn how to talk to this little 2-year-old. And some of these brains are getting better. Some of them are better at different things. Google has a different brain. Their Bard is a different kind of brain than OpenAI's brain, and different than Facebook's or Meta little brains that they've created. And you actually have to, when you start putting it and implementing it, you got to understand these are actually only, it's more like a little brain you're dealing with versus just like a direct tech tool that you would expect the exact outcome that you're going to get from it. So it's a little bit more creativity and variability inside the AI. So jumping into some of the problems that we've faced with AI, some of the limitations right now. The tech is really quickly evolving. I've talked to a lot of companies and they say, hey, we're scared to put in any AI because tomorrow there's going to be some new big announcement and all of a sudden everything we're going to have is obsolete. That's a fear, and it's a legit one. The second one is that many times when people, with the way OpenAI, the ChatGPT is set up as almost a zero-shot prompting, which means I ask one question and expect all of my stuff when I'm done. Like if I'm a kid, I'm saying, hey, I want my research paper done. It's got to include this, this, and this. Go. And I expect it to develop a really nice research paper. Zero-shot prompting is what like the core brain guys are working on their models, but most of the time that will not get you what you need, because you need to do multi-step. You need to say, well, first here's the structure of what my research paper should look like. And then after that, then you say, okay, I want to add this content, and you're doing multi-steps. I mean, how many people in here have used ChatGPT and done like 5 or 6 or 7 different responses back and forth until you get what you really want, right? That's actually typically the flow that you use to get what you want out of it, and it becomes more and more useful when you go back and forth multiple times to refine the prompting. Hold on one second. So that's something that's a struggle, and we hate going back and forth too many times. Number 3 is the memory problem. So AI has a problem with big memory. It's almost, and they've expanded this over the last year, but the context window means if I'm a little brain, I can only take in so much information before I just ignore it all or mess it all up and kind of explode. So what people developed are, well, this has been here for a long time, something called vector databases. And some people know about these, some people don't. Vector databases have been around for a long time, but it's a way of structuring data, and you have to reprocess all of your data into a vector database process in order for it to be used by a large language model. But when you do, then you can push millions of pieces of data, millions of files up into a system and have the AI reference that through what they call as a vector database system. But that's kind of a solution to what the short-term LLM problem kind of has with it right now. And number 4, security has been a risk and a problem for many companies of, hey, do I show my data to OpenAI or do I keep it private LLMs? Those are some of the risks. Now, some of the strengths, we talk about, using AI as for analysis, which is crazy, incredible, and powerful. When you put it the right way, you can get large pieces of data that would take me hundreds of hours to do. I can crunch it down in minutes with AI. It's really, really powerful that way. The creative content you can make with AI, like this picture here, like I would never be able to spend the time to do 3D modeling. I have a history in video games, like I said, so I've done 3D modeling. I've done all this stuff. It would take me so long to do this, and in seconds, I can create a picture, right? That's the power. That's one of the other strengths here. And then the third strength that we call out is process automation, where AI can just do a lot of things at once. So to put this all concisely, we created just an easy way of thinking about it called the ACE framework when you're dealing with AI. So AI does analysis really well, creativity really well, and it does execution really well. So when you think about what should I put into AI and how should I put it into my business, these 3 buckets really kind of help organize how I'm thinking about my business or how I'm thinking about the processes that I want to improve. let's keep going forward. So a couple of, just want to give quick examples of each one of these. I'm gonna give some higher level examples, and then Edgar's gonna go through like how we deal with AI internally and with our product. So the AI analysis, so quick example, stuff that we've done, customer segmentation and personalization. So we've used it to grab analyses of customer databases, of who customers are, and whittle down who my customer is, what's the voice of my customer. We've worked with some really big CPG companies. They're trying to figure out who is the ideal customer for this brand and this brand here. And that's really important to them. And using AI speeds it up. I was just on the phone with someone the other day, and they said this process takes 7 months normally, and we're doing it in less than a week. Which is so powerful. And this is why everyone's excited about AI, because they know it can get there, just the tools aren't quite there yet. We know that we're seeing all these building blocks that are around to try and get us there. Sales forecasting, we've used, you know, you gotta, when you start throwing numbers in AI, it's still getting better at numbers. You gotta be careful about some of them, but we've successfully used it in some pretty good sales forecasting and analysis and trend forecasting with some sales and some data. And then also researching the market, looking at who competitors are, what they're doing, and trying to understand them and where we fit inside that market. Those are some examples of the analyses. Then we talk about the creative content, developing who you are. AI is one of the things AI is super good at, and the reason that we love, you know, I've been a consultant in my career. I've also worked big tech companies. I worked at Amazon. I guess I didn't introduce myself. I worked at big Amazon for multiple years. I ran their third-party selling platform, which at the time about $65 billion was run through that platform I was running. And then I built a new business for Amazon. And then I've gone into lots of consulting and helping companies. And one of the coolest parts of AI is that if you give it a framework, if you feed it into a framework, you say, hey, I want this to have this structure. AI is really good at actually resolving and solving that structure and producing content back out to you with that structure. That's why I actually think for consultants, AI is like prime. For consultants, someone coming in who knows something about a business, who might have their own framework that they want to use or they like to use with their business, and you pass it through AI and actually generates really good content from it. So brand storytelling, that exact same component, giving it a framework of how you want to tell a story. What's a brand persona? What's a brand profile? And giving enough data through it, and you're getting really good data on the other side of it. Creative content, obviously, this is where the big explosion has been with a lot of the online people, Midjourney, and all the other creative contents. I mean, I generated this random picture that this guy kind of looks realistic, but he's in this digital flower bed behind him, right? Like, it was pretty quick and easy. We've done stuff like creating an auto blog draft. So you create a blog, and we may show you an example of that today, where I create a blog, go look at the internet, a bunch of the information about that subject, add it to my blog, get an image, and then create a whole draft for a blog that I can just pump out. And with that, we don't say AI will take you 100% of the way there. It's just going to help you get 90% of the way there. There still needs a human touch. It's not quite there yet from a technology perspective. But creating marketing material and other stuff, super useful for that. Some of the processy things, as an example, we had a client come to us with about 25,000 books they wanted to upload into the Amazon system. And they did, but they need keywords for all of these 25,000 books. And they would need at least 25 keywords on Amazon. So we can get a whole team to do that for 25,000 keywords, or actually using AI, we actually have it going and searching the net and coming up with its own set of keywords for each book, for all 25,000 of these books. And we're not engineers doing it. We're just hooked into pretty cool AI workflows and systems. And then we're executing the whole process. Sorry, yeah, I was standing in front of it right here. It's 25,000 books. We're executing this whole process and spitting out keywords, 25 keywords for 25,000 different books. That's an example of AI just able to process a lot of stuff really quickly. Then now kind of on to us, our general thesis as a company, So we believe that we love all of the AI stuff out there, and everything that comes out, we love it. Like a new product comes out, we think it's awesome, because what we're focusing on and building is an interconnected layer that pulls all these together, so you can use the latest and greatest of all of these tool sets and put them into your own workflow and build them into whatever you want to create for your business or for yourself. So we love all of the new innovations that are coming out, and we think everyone should, because they're awesome. This is like the coolest time in history. But as long as you have access to all of them and you can use them all in one place is kind of what we're really focused on. And so that's our thesis, that essentially everyone needs a platform to automate and integrate all of these things. And that's what we've been really focused on, and for the last year and a half been building a product called FlexPrompt, which is this middle layer platform, this automation platform that we think is super useful and we love it. With that, I'm going to turn the time over to Edgar to start showcasing some stuff.
All right, can you guys hear me better? Excellent, awesome. Thanks, Brad, for the intro. Just for those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Edgar Cheney. I am the VP of Product at Enhanced AI. We're building something really exciting. I'm excited to show you what it is. Brad talked a lot about what AI is and how we can use it. We're trying to figure out how to create a really solid product for consultants so that we can make their work go much faster, so their impact is greater and their clients can thrive. So that's what we're doing we're trying to build this product. And in order to build a really good product, you got to talk to customers. And as we've been talking with consultants and independent consulting agencies consulting agencies, we keep hearing the same questions over and over. One of them is something that Brad already talked about, which is what even is AI, right? Another question is, which AI product should I use? There's so many out there. There's Google, Perplexity, Anthropic, Mistral. There's so many products out there, and those are just the brands. Then you have like the different models. They're on different versions, and you're just wondering, what can I do? One of the things that we want to do is build a product where you don't have to worry about that. We want to build a product where you go in and you have access to all of these tools. We help you understand how to use these tools. And in the future, maybe we don't even do that, right? Maybe we just do it for you. You try to get something done. We decide which systems are going to be the best ones, and we get the work done for you quickly and efficiently, right? So that's the vision of what we're building. Another question that we get is, now that we passed the brand, or right, what apps should I use? I don't know if you guys have seen something like, this kind of a screenshot on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn and other areas, they're constantly sending out, oh, here are all of the different apps that you can use with AI, hundreds of them, right? And they're these one-off apps that do very specific things. And in order for you to get your job done as a consultant, you'd have to create 50 different accounts to get just the right things that you wanted, right? Well, we are building one product that does all of these things. It can do speech and audio, it can do text, it can do images, it can do search, it can do so much, and all in one product. So then you don't have to go crazy looking at all of the other ones. Another question that we keep hearing is, what makes a good prompt? This is a science and an art, right? And a lot of people are taking these different classes or going through and doing YouTube videos, articles, anything that they can to learn how to do a good prompt. We want to build a product that makes it super easy for you to have just or create just the right prompt by providing you with the best user experience possible with fields or whatever you need in order for you to have really solid prompts, libraries, etc. That's where we're heading. Another question is, why can't I get this to work just like I want it to work, right? A lot of these apps that we've shown you, that people are building, they do one thing and they do it the way that they think is best. So you might use the app and then it gives you something that you're just like, no, it's still not right. Right. And so we're building a product that allows you to customize those workflows just right. The way, make it sound just the same way that you sound, right? Or have the same specific interests that you have. That's the kind of product that we want to build. And one of the things that we're doing is we're doing it no code, drag and drop, and workflow basis. This is something that we're very used to. It's very similar to Lucidchart, Miro, Figma. Like there's all of these drag and drop, Visio, right? All of these different systems that we are used to. We want to build our product with the same models. I don't know if you knew this, but this is an image of a Bible that was discovered, and this Bible was written in 692 AD. And as you can see, they had a mind map in it. So we've been doing mind mapping for a very long time. So that's one of the reasons why we built this product the way that we have. It's very simple and intuitive to use. Last question that I'll cover, we've heard many other questions, but this is another one. Let's pretend you're using ChatGPT, right? And you're asking all these questions and no, you didn't get it right. How about this? And then how about that? And then how about this? And then eventually you get it to just the right thing that you wanted. And then somebody asks you to do it again for something else. And now you're like, oh my gosh, I just have to go through that same thing all over again. That's crazy, right? Well, we're building a product where you don't have to do that. You can create a flow, you can reuse that flow, you can trigger it and execute it whenever you want. It's pretty solid. So we're excited. Now, let me give you, let me talk a little bit about why automating is important. There's three things that our product, automating AI, is one of the big pieces of our product, and a couple of reasons, 3 reasons actually. One, it will eliminate the tedious things of your work. Right, yes, maybe it's like sending an invoice or whatever, right? And so all of these tedious things, you don't want to do those, and AI can do a really good job on those, right? We have a lot of competitors that are doing that as well. We, however, think that automating AI, we can get further than just the tedious tasks. We want to help you, yes, do those, but also automate the most important parts of your work. We feel like it can speed up creativity. Here's a really good, simple example. I have a Marco Polo group with some of my closest friends from high school. And we talk about all sorts of things there. And one of my friends asked a question about, a scenario that she has with her daughter. And for the next 3 or 4 days, all of us are chiming in. We're giving experiences, we're giving suggestions and principles. And we do this for 3 or 4 days, lots and lots of video, lots of content, good stuff. And then one of our friends, just for fun, he asked the same question to ChatGPT. And within seconds, he sent us the prompt the output, and it had every single one of the principles that we had talked about over those 3 or 4 days. And I'm not exaggerating. Like we went through each one of them, and it had covered every one of those. AI can do that. It can help speed up your creativity. It can also help you be more creative. There's a study that was done with Wharton students. This was back in 2021, before ChatGPT. Professor had a class of Wharton business students. Wharton's one of the top business programs in the nation. And he asked this class to collectively, together, come up with 200 business ideas, business products that you could sell for about $50, right? And then they used artificial intelligence to do that as well. Artificial intelligence took maybe 15 minutes to come up with 200 ideas, and the class took much longer. And then they took it to an audience and said, would you purchase these products? Sure enough, the artificial intelligence, it was 49% of the people that they asked would buy the products from the AI system. And then 40% would buy the products from the students at Wharton. So, and that was back in 2021. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, we really believe that automation can help you do your work so much better. All right, so let me jump into a demo here of our product. Okay. Oh, I forgot to share just a couple of disclaimers. We're still in alpha, but we have clients, paying clients. So it's good enough for for companies, but we're still in alpha. Number two, I'm showing you dev environment. What that means is that this is where the coders do their work. It gives us the latest features, but it's not the most stable environment. So if something breaks, just know, right? Three, this is live. I wanted to show you live because when we do these demonstrations, a lot of people ask, how much of this is smoke and mirrors? This isn't smoke and mirrors. We're very proud of what we're building. It's very powerful, even though it's still in alpha. The last thing is it's just a taste. I'm going to give you some simple flows so that your imagination, your curiosity can run wild. And hopefully I'll give you some flows that you might find quite interesting. Okay, this is Flux Prompt. As I mentioned, it works just very similar to drag and drop technology that you've seen. You've got your toolbar over here on the left side. You can drag and drop tools, and then you can connect those tools. And then create workflows, okay? Very simple. I'm gonna give you an idea of what kind of tools we're talking about. This is a text generator. This takes the latest AI technologies, and it works just like ChatGPT would. You give it a prompt, it gives you some output. The cool part about what we're building here is that, as you can see, as I've mentioned, you can use any AI tool out there, and we're going to continue building this out even more. We got Google, we got open source like Meta, Perplexity, Anthropic, OpenAI, right? We have an image generator, takes text and creates an image. We have an image reader, takes an image, and you can analyze that image and do other things with it. We have a voice generators. You can take text and create voices in audio. We have an audio reader, take an audio file and then transcribe it into text. And then we even have music. You can create your own music if you want. Right? Sometimes you're bored and you work and you just want to create your own music. Okay, and then in addition to that, we have a lot of third-party tools as well. You can search the web with Google. You can do Google Maps, Census, and in the SEC information, and more, and more. I'm just not going to show you that. Okay, so let's go into, I thought for a fun, just the first one, I thought I would do a fun flow, okay? Super Bowl's coming up. I thought, let's see if we can use Flux Prompt to create a Super Bowl ad. And because I'm a Spotify lover, I thought let's focus on a Spotify ad, right? I listen to a lot of Spotify, and because I'm so cheap, I also see a lot of Spotify ads. So usually it's an image, and then you have narration in the background. Okay. So the first thing that came to mind was, and by the way, this is a flow from my mind. This is why I love this product. You guys would approach this differently. This is my mind. First thing I would say, first thing I wanted to do is just some research. So I used the Google web search and just said, what are the best practices of best Super Bowl commercials? And as you can see, it gave me an output here. I didn't want to look through any of that. So I just used AI to pick the best one. So I just said, give me the link to the best article that could help me with this. It gave me the link. I popped it into our web crawler, and because I didn't want to read it. And it gave me all of the content from the article. And then I said, from this article, I want you to just come up with the specific components that makes a really good Super Bowl ad, right? And it came up with a bunch, right? And what I did was I just ran with a few of them. A couple of things that it said was it needs a funny plot, it needs a celebrity, and obviously it needs a product, right? And so what I did is that I created inputs for AI. So this is my first input, which is what product, right? So I said Nike. What celebrity? I said Bill Gates, because I just thought it would be really fun to see a nerd talking about Nike. And then I asked it to come up with a plot. So I said, take Nike, take Bill Gates, come up with some funny plots. And it spit out, several plots. And I used AI, I gave it some parameters and said, pick the one that's the funniest, the one that's most likely to make people laugh. And you can obviously tweak it however you want. It picked this second scenario, and then it came up with, then I said, come up with a script. So it came up with a script, and then I asked it to take that script and just give me the narration, because I'm going to feed that into a voice generator. So it grabbed that script, got rid of all of the noise, and just gave me the narration. And then I created a sound on audio. And then I took all this information and I said, create a prompt that I could feed into an image, right? An image generator, and then produce an image for it. So you guys want to hear the Spotify ad it came up with? So imagine this pops up on Spotify, right? It's not Bill Gates, obviously.
Hi, I'm Bill Gates. You might know me as a tech guy, but once I tried something different, sports shoes. Let's just say I should stick to software. But you know who has got it right? Nike. They've combined comfort, style, and performance technology in a way even I couldn't. So leave the tech to me and the sports shoes to Nike. Trust me, it's for the best. Nike, just do it.
Do we have time? Should we run another one? Do we have time, you think? Okay, well, this one's just worth it. Let's run it. Somebody give me a product and then a celebrity. Oh, Disneyland and the Detroit Lions. One celebrity. Jared. How do you spell his last name? Oh, I hope it knows Jared Goff. Oh, come on, man. Barry Sanders. Oh, I love it. Barry Sanders. Okay, perfect. Let's execute this thing. And the great thing about our tool, like I said, is once you create a flow, you connect the flow, and it just runs automatically, all on its own. And you can go and do other things and get work done. Now, AI is a little bit slow. It's getting faster. So eventually our flows will take a little bit more time, or sorry, less time. But Yep. It is amazing. All right, so it came up with 5 plots. Then it picked one. Now it's onto the script. Now it's the narrator only. And now it's creating the voice generator. Voice generation. There's a slight bug here, so you don't see it working, but it's working. This one's the one that takes a little bit of time, but we're almost done. I timed it. It was about 2 minutes, so you guys can hang tight for 2 minutes, probably, right? Okay, it's almost done. Check it out. We're onto image. It created the image prompt. And let's see what kind of an image. Sometimes the image, you just need to do a few of them before it works out. I should show you some other Bill Gates. Okay. Okay, it is done. All right. Let's do this. Here we go.
SFX crowd cheering. Barry Sanders, struggling noises. Man, Gaston's got a grip like a vice. SFX table slam. Barry Sanders laughs. Well, I guess even us retired NFL stars can't beat the magic here at Disneyland. SFX Disney jingle. Barry Sanders. Come on down to Disneyland where every day is game day. Just don't challenge Gaston to an arm wrestling match. SFX, laughter and applause.
Yes, on and very sense. Love it. As you can see, as you can see, it messed up on the SFX, right? But that's the beauty of our tool. If it messes up, you just come in here and tweak the instruction a little bit until it gets it right, and then you can run this thing over and over. Okay, let me show you a few others. I'm gonna save that changes because I want to remember that commercial. Oh yeah. That is in our roadmap. Yeah, right now it does actually remember the outputs that it spit out. It doesn't remember the actual inputs yet, but it is on our roadmap. Great question. I think that would be a fantastic feature. Okay, so let's go to the RFP response. All right, I'm gonna go through these a bit quick because I want to give you enough time for question and answer, but I thought this right here is a flow for a request for proposal. I'm guessing you guys have seen these, probably have to answer these all the time. If you went to ChatGPT and you said something like, which is what I did here, hey, ChatGPT, give me a request for or an RFP response for this RFP, they'll give you something like this. It's a very simple vanilla answer, and then you're going to look at this and say, this is going to take me more time to edit than anything else. But if you use our tool, you can actually create a flow that works exactly how you want it. And here, what I did was, sorry, I wish I had my mouse. Key deliverables, I fed the RFP. It produced the key deliverables for the RFP. Then, as you can see here, it just focused. I focused on what it is that I would do for this project. Just start there. Then I said, okay, now that I have the deliverables, let's add some more detail. Let's talk about what's the pricing, how long is it going to take, how many people it's going to take. And then I put in a company overview, and I don't have enough time to show you a cool flow that I did here, but I did some research, figured out information about this company, which was Podium in this example, and then came up with a really solid company overview. And then I put it all together, and this is just a tiny thing, right? You can put so many other things in there, but look at the response that I got. This response is the one that I created with our tool. More space, hold up. compared to that one. Now that's a response. You have like, it has examples, like examples from your company. It has how much it's going to cost, how long it's going to take, what's the different things that we're going to do, what's the more information about the company. It's got it all, right? And you can tweak it and create more, and you can just automate this to go over and over and over again. Another one that you might run into a lot is analyzing company reviews. What I did is I took I just went to Google and just copied a bunch of reviews and put them in here. In the future, we're going to have tools that you'll just be able to grab all of those Google reviews and bring them in. And then I had them go through an entire process where you could put it into categories, understand the sentiments, understand improvements, understand features, prioritize those features, create user stories for those features, all with the click of a button, right? Another one that I wanted to show you was on a competitive analysis. I'm sure you guys have to do plenty of those. Well, I did it so that all you have to do is put in the company name in here, and it goes out and does a ton of research on your company, figures out all the top competitors, and then does a SWOT analysis for each one of the top 5 competitors. That's the flow that I created. And one of the things that I wanted to show you was that when I ran this, I said performance SWOT analysis on the first company listed, which was Demand Hub. When I did this through ChatGPT, it came back and said, I don't have information on that. I'm not up to date. So then what I did is I just came in here and I changed it to Perplexity. Perplexity is known for up-to-date information. And all of a sudden, now we've got SWOT analysis for every one of those companies that ChatGPT didn't even know about. And then there's another one. There's a tutorial script that I wrote. Like I just took, I took a Google link from a YouTube video that I liked from Figma because they did a really great tutorial. And then I learned from it, analyzed this tutorial, and it printed it out, right? And then it analyzed it. And then I gave it some of information of the things that I wanted to create, and it created an entire script for this tutorial and fully automated. Anyway, so I'm going to stop there or else I'm geeking out now, but tons of more questions. If you guys have questions, I'm excited to answer them, but now we're going to turn it over to Ryan for
Gonna start a little bit lower tech for a minute. So, can you guys hear me okay? All right. Title of this was about consulting and AI mastery for consultants. I just need to know, raise of hands, how many this question resonates with. How many ping pong balls fit in a 747? Does that mean anything to anyone? Whether it's McKinsey, Bain consultants, et cetera. So I'm going to give you a little bit of background on our company, Agreed. And part of this is about hearts and minds and blending AI with reality. When you go into your medium to highly complex organization or your client, change is painful. And it's difficult to get folks aligned so that we can all celebrate with the ice cream at the end. And it's no wonder the go-to tactics that we all rely on from the past are just not working, right? You've got endless meetings, you've got splintered communication threads. The world's best deck is helpful, but like it's swagger ego in politics that's going to win the day. And unfortunately, the black eye on the industry is that 70% plus of our transformation efforts are failing. I mean, McKinsey's been saying this for 20 plus years. Most recently, Harvard Business Review posted some. So what do we do about this? This is why consultants have jobs. Now, how many in the room are actually consultants versus, I need to see, sorry. All right, maybe half, 2/3, okay. So I'll tell you a little bit about co-founder Mark Crockett and I in just a minute, but Agreed is a process and software for pressure testing cross-functional initiatives. When you think about going into your clients, you have recommendations. How do you get your client employee base on board? How can they be part of the solution? How can you have an effective baton handoff so that they can run? Agreed is think about it as a playbook for real progress, for alignment, for results that goes, think the workflow from ideation. I have a new improvement initiative, making process improvement cool again, to drafting the business case, getting stakeholders on board, getting your decision makers and bringing them along, going into implementation planning, capacity planning, et cetera, and then tracking to results. This is the playbook that we run. And we're about making everybody a change manager so that they can set the context, so that they can build an effective ROI with costs and benefits. Even if they're not, say, your finance trained folks, these are your frontline nurses, these are your IT managers, these are folks who may not care about the costs and benefits, but it's how business decisions get made. Agreed helps engage stakeholders to reduce risk and make sure that those impacted areas across the business have bought in before a decision. And then lastly, just bringing your decision makers along. So it ends with the prioritized pipeline with employee buy-in and executive confidence. We built Agreed based on over 250,000 approved and executed business cases, the lessons learned, the archetypes, clients big and small, and generating +3 to +10% EBITDA margins. So regardless of where you fit in an organization, this matters to your bonus. It matters to your private equity investors who are caring about carry and their return profile. It matters. So who we are, and then I'll talk about some use cases of how we are operationalizing Flux Prompt today. I have a blended background, management consulting and the dark side of Wall Street, 30 billion plus in LBO financings. My co-founder, Mark Crockett, ex-McKinsey, founding partner of Vici Partners, an earnings growth consulting firm. So, and then Jeff Harvey, strategic growth. He grew up with Qualtrics, advising the Smith brothers from their earliest days as his golf cart caddy boys at the golf course. And he's worn every hat that you can think of at Qualtrics. So Agreed plus enhanced AI, what are we trying to solve? We wanted to rapidly integrate AI into repeatable and complex processes. Think about the engagements that you go on, right? We have a strategic planning component where we're looking across a portfolio of initiatives and trying to find, do we have any overlaps? Are we duplicating efforts? Are there, given the context and the portfolio of ideas, are there other ideas that we might consider? Like Edgar was talking about the business ideas, AI versus Wharton MBAs. Well, take the smartest people in your company and then layer AI on top of it, right? A couple other use cases, financial analyst. Let's help that frontline nurse. Let's just propose the initial costs and benefits to make sure that she can be successful. Chief of staff, here's a roster of everything that's been talked about around one initiative. I just need to know what are the most important levers to pull. And if I only have 20 minutes, where should I poke to make sure that I'm getting the real answers? And then lastly, HR business partner. Who are the stakeholders in our organization that I should socialize with, right? 5 generations in the workforce, there's no chance your Gen Zers are going to know the right baby boomers and who the power dynamics, where they lie. So let's at least empower folks who are learning how to build business cases to know who to socialize with. Here's what it looks like, an example. So fresh idea, no costs or benefits yet. You click the AI Assist button within our platform, and it will start thinking about what to do across revenue, non-personnel, and personnel expenses. And then it will actually propose categories of costs and benefits, a description of what they are, if it's a one-time or ongoing expense, and if it's going up or down. So there's costs and benefits. Now, my demo is not going to be as sexy as Edgar's because it's not live, but what's happening is that we've we've coded and trained Flux Prompt with our own information. We've set it up with a persona that can act like a financial analyst that thinks with the rigor of a pick your favorite company trained expert, and then analyzes the idea and then runs it through a number of iterations. You think about managing costs, we can do this super creatively with, say, GPT-3.5. And then this second part, we need it formatted in a very specific way so that it can show up in our software and not just give us errors. So then, like Edgar said, this one is GPT-4, and it will give us a very specific JSON output so that it can fit into our code and make a lot of people happy. We've got some case studies, but I think that we're going to end so that we can open it up for Q&A. And we're really excited about the power of AI, and it's about bringing hearts and minds together, people and tools. So there you go.
Right, thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Edgar. Jeff, Q&A, we probably got, 10 or so minutes for some Q&A. We got everyone on here in case questions for whoever they might be. So I think I saw firsthand right here. Yeah. So we've actually built, so the question was, how do we pass along the billing to the users? So our software is based on a licensing fee. So our software has a license, and then we've built, this is the other complex part, we built an underlying layer of all the pricing and all the tokens for every single model that funnels through. And then we standardize that into what we call an AI token inside of our system. And so GPT 3.5 might be 0.003 cents, and 4 is like 0.0 or 0.3 cents. And we standardize that into a standardized AI token translation, and then we pass that through for the usage. So we built that whole underlying layer to cover that for people. Good question. Yes. Yeah, there is. There was one drop down that was called open source, and that's all the open source models you can access. But then as a more of an enterprise client comes on board, we have something that you enable that would have your company's name, and then we ingest all those LLMs. So you can lock it down. So you could say, hey, company, we want to make sure no one in our company uses anything but our own LLM. And so all those workflows would only expose your own LLM on those use cases. Or you could say, hey, we're going to do a blend of both. You can use, OpenAI and our own, and you can manage it that way. But yeah, that's a full functionality that's built into the back end of the system. We have to do the integration into there to make sure it's integrated the right way. And that's just part of where the product is at this point. Misleading, bad, yeah. Yeah, So so the question was, how do we funnel in and kind of control any bad actors inside the system and the platform? So we have a whole backend system that is tracking the flags and the return responses that are coming back from all of the LLMs that we're using, those main LLMs. And so we do know if there flags start coming up and coming back from them. So we can identify those users that way. In terms of wide open in the open source models where some of that stuff doesn't come about, that's it's still a little bit of the Wild West if someone wants to start using open source models, which they can't. So how many nodes? Yeah, so we actually haven't set a limit, but the most someone has put in there is 80 different into a flow at one point, which was quite impressive. And our developers didn't yell at us when that happens. So, but we'll probably set a limit. I'm assuming like 150 or something or 100. Say that again. How do you join? Yeah, so we have let me see this one. You can go to fluxprompt.ai and there's there's just a quick right here, fluxprompt.ai, and we have a quick little joining, just a quick form. And what we would like to do is schedule a demo. So as it's still in alpha, we're going to schedule a demo. There's a Calendly link that should come in through an email. And as soon as you sign up, we'll set up a time count, and we want to walk you through a demo and make sure you do the first couple of workflows with you, so you kind of get the system and get the gist of the system. Yeah, on that note, I mean, we could talk about our future plan. We have an LLM built that you could type in something, it's going to preload like a whole template for you of exactly the workflow that you would want, all of those nodes. So we're thinking pretty far ahead, but at the moment, like Edgar said, we actually really want to work with all of the new customers coming in and understand how they're using it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so outside the platform, so we have about 200 outside calls with our system. So we talked about Google and YouTube. We have the census data. We have the SEC data. So that's a pretty interesting one. SEC data comes in a new. You can take those huge SEC filings and and summarize them, and then actually glean some information out of those. And then we also have an API caller inside as a node. So if you have an API caller, it means you can call any other API within that workflow inside of itself. So
Which is how we agreed we're a standalone platform. We API into FluxPrompt. And so we can send information like the idea, the team, the stakeholders, the decision makers, all of the changes, feed that into FluxPrompt, and then it's able to iterate and send back information. So functional APIs.
we have another example is we have a sales funnel generator where a sales lead comes in from an unbounced page. That's just a kind of a capture page. It has a bunch of information about the person. An email actually gets sent in, it jumps into our system, and then it scrubs that data. It goes and looks on the internet for information about that person or the client who came in. It does a pricing matrix about that person. It then writes a customized email to that person, and it sends all that back to the sales agent so that a new lead comes in within 30 seconds. They know everything about the customer, and they have an email that they could just respond automatically if they wanted. So it's all we do have. Any flow can have input and output connection points into any other system. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great comment. So the question is if new people coming in have access to pre-made flows and templates. We've actually created a list of templates. When you first sign in, there's just 3 simple examples, but we actually have been building out templates based on marketing, sales, operations, finance, a bunch of different use cases, and you can share flows amongst people and pass them along. So the more full marketplace is in the future vision, but at the moment, it's templates that we can pass in and see how to use it and what they might. That's a good question. Maybe let's talk after. Maybe we can talk about a couple of thoughts about that. That's a great offer. So let's talk afterwards. Yeah, I'll answer the first one, Edgar, you do the second one. So first question is, some of the other competitors. Everyone's trying to figure out AI and we just want to build a platform to make it all easy to integrate in one place. We are, I have a bunch of tech in my background, but I'm more of a business guy and a business operator. I mean, even though I was inside of Amazon doing business stuff, I was the business front end guy. And so what we've built this for is the business operator, more simple, not as tech. There's some APIs that we've talked about here. That's a little techish, but in general, the platform is built for more regular, almost consultant or business operator to use. And so some of the other platforms we've seen that are pulling these things together. I don't know if anyone here has heard of LangChain, but that, I've been working on this for about 5-6 months and I saw those guys coming out and I was like, that's cool, but that's very tech, and that's more power to them. I actually love what they're doing. But that's very tech focused. Ours is focused toward the business operator, a little more simple user interface, a little more Figma-like is where the company's direction is going for our presentation for people and AI. And then second.
This is something that we definitely want. Imagine you guys can create these amazing workflows. Want to share them with your team. Definitely want to make that possible. I've actually started to working on some of the UI, but in the future, it'll be as easy as you publish something and then you can take that link, share it with others, and then they can input. Just remember the flow that I did for competitive analysis where it's just basically you change the company name. Well, it would be a simple UI that would allow you to do that. Your client, your team, or whoever types in a different field or a different company, and then runs through that flow and gives you output just the way that you want. So that's one of our huge parts of our strategy.
And I think maybe to even deeper, thanks for that. I think that a deeper answer to your question, just part of the way I interpreted it, is connection to other go-to-market platforms. So you can connect to like Zapier, or like if you have a push to through, or if you have a Bubble app or something like that, you can connect straight into those APIs. The images pump right out as a URL with the image on it. The audio, same thing, URL with the audio tag on it, and the text will pass right through that way. So that's how a lot of customers so far have used it, is connecting to the API output sent to some other system that's the final delivery system. So, we just believe AI is just the future of technology moving forward. And a lot of the consultants we've talked with just want to embrace it. And they're like, hey, they can do a lot better work, a lot quicker work they used to be able to. Like I said, that example, the big CPG company that used to spend 7 months to get to this end solution, they're able to do it. And, some of that, theoretically, I don't know how that fully changes or how the jobs evolve, but we know that AI is here and it's going to be a part of our workforce. And, we're all about embracing it. And how do you embrace it and put it into your work, and that give you a competitive advantage?
Going along with that, thinking about, agreed, we were founded with consultants who are blocking and tackling in clients every day. And with AI, you have a sharper saw in your toolkit, but it's still going to come down to blocking and tackling with getting the humans who are going to execute a process, who are going to utilize the output, or who are going to leverage a new tool. They need to be bought in. And so we believe there's still space for consultants, obviously, but their role is going to be highly context driven and very interpersonal, right? It's going to be more leaning into navigating those intersections of how the tools are going to impact day-to-day work.
last note on that is, so far it's been people trying to deliver stuff with AI and it's just not good. And so they get reamed on it, right? But if AI gets you 90% of the way there, that just helps and speeds up your work. That's how we generally think about AI. Sometimes it can take something to the end product. Sometimes it only gets to 50% of the way there. But in general, it will get you 90% of the way there. So we have marketing ad agency that's pumping out lots of content, but they still have all their copywriters going through everything, and it just gets them way further than they would have gone before. All right, I think we're out of time, but thank you, everyone. We'll be around for just talking after.